Hi. I don't know how these things work. I feel like everyone starts off saying something like that, you know? They come on the show, and as soon as they sit down on this wooden chair, their thoughts leave them. I'd say their egos go too, but as soon as I sat down here, I was faced with my humanity. The papers on this table were bloodstained with those before me. On the desk, there are names carved, names I recognize, names like Moss, Chanel number 5, Leonora? Then there's the one name that I recognize, the priest. Okay, I am no man of whatever being damnedest to this town, okay? I haven't read the Bible, and guess what? I do not want to, ever. I saw some shit, okay? I saw some shit that I do not think I ever want to think about again. Have you ever wondered what happens to the bodies of the criminals on this show? I mean, it hasn't ever crossed my mind. I mean, I saw the hacker lady's house was ransacked. Chanel number 5 has a grave right next to her lover in the cemetery. I just assume families or friends or the government come and take care of it. You never think about after death until you're faced with it. So, I am a thief. Well, was. I'm a small guy, so I can get into the tight spaces. I perfected silencing my footsteps. At first, I stole to survive, but now I steal because it is extremely fun. The church sits secluded near the forest. It's sat empty since the death of the priest. Not many people here are too religious. How can we be? In a town like this, there truly isn't much to believe in at all. We can't believe in ourselves, so how the hell are we supposed to believe in a higher power? There's no one coming to save us. No one loves their neighbor here. The church holds relics that I knew about. Golden things, and I've heard rumors of jewels. The stained glass alone could be sold at the market for a pretty penny. This was supposed to be easy. It should have been easy anyways. I went to the church in the middle of the day. It's so secluded and no one dares to touch it, so it's a safe bet. Plus, that meant I could see the natural light and not have to risk someone seeing the beam of my flashlight. That could go many ways, and none of them well. The church was empty and falling in on itself. There were already vines growing up its cobblestoned exterior. It really made me think about time as I saw the vines and the dust on the entrance. First rule of thieving is try the front door first. It'll save you a lot of trouble. In movies, they always talk about entering through the skylight or a hole in the ground, but that's child's play. Those things are last case scenario, and on a heist this easy, it would only feed my ego. I didn't need that much of a pep talk, you know. Damn it, this was supposed to be easy. I know I keep repeating that over and over. Just things haven't always been easy for me. I mean, for any of us. But this was. The front door was unlocked, and it opened with a creak. It was old and wooden. However, it was still extremely heavy with its iron fixtures. So, I shouldered the door. The interior was coated in that red carpet, and it smelled like mold. A thin layer of dust coated the entire place, and the silence was deafening. Everything was just so incredibly still. It was as if I stepped into some type of time vortex. Nothing truly made any sense. However, I soldiered on. My light footsteps didn't break the silence, and neither did my shallow breaths. When I'm nervous on the job, I usually count my steps. It keeps me mindful at the task at hand. I cannot just lose my cool at absolutely everything. The good stuff is usually kept under the churches. Usually that is where the bones of the priests go to rest as well. So, essentially I was robbing a grave today. Grave robbing isn't exactly something I do a lot. The moral gray area isn't something I like to think about, but down I went. There was a wrought iron gate by the altar. It stood in an open square around a practically gaping hole in the floor. However, the hole was a perfectly cut square, and it was equipped with a wooden staircase. I jumped the fence and started my descent under the church. The air started getting a chill, and it smelled damp. The wooden stairs creaked under my feet, and I was worried they may give out from under me. Just how long has this church been empty? How much time has passed since the priest died? My feet touched down on white marble floors. It was dark, and the light from above did not follow me down. I turned on my flashlight. All I could hear was my own breathing and my pounding heart. Then, there it was. The noise was so subtle I thought I was hallucinating. A woman's voice. Glass clanging. A man? Before I could even process it, I had ran into the main trove of the church. The beam of my flashlight slowly moved up to focus on the room. I saw gold. I saw silver and jewels in every color you could think of. Then something dripped onto my face. I touched my fingers to the moisture, and they came back red. I looked up. My flashlight caught the scene. On the ceiling of the room, I saw the priest. He was staked to the ceiling. His chest was bare and bore a symbol of some... He was dead. He had to be dead. Surrounding him were skulls with unlit black and red candles in their mouths. His eyes were gone. They were just hollow voids. I suppressed a scream. The voices grew closer before I could process what I had seen, and I panicked. I was cornered underground with no way out. They were growing closer, and the steps and the voices. I saw a coffin laying open. It didn't have anything in it, so I jumped in. And the people, whoever they were, entered the room. I could hear their bare feet hit the floor as they spoke in a language I'd never heard. Things went silent, and that's when the screaming started. It was a man's scream, and it was so full of anguish. I couldn't stand it. I squeezed my eyes shut and covered my ears. This robbery was much more than I'd bargained for. All of it. A few relics weren't worth this. Just as I thought, I couldn't stand it. Silence. I laid in the dark silence for a long time. I am a coward. Finally, I opened the lid of the coffin. The priest was gone. The people were gone. All that was left of any of them was a trail of mushrooms and a glass pendant. I picked it up and examined it. The chain was pure gold. The pendant was encasing it was a human eye, all right. And I don't know if it was just the hysteria or whatever, but the thing blinked. It fucking blinked. I flung it down and ran. I ran for it. No looking back. Yeah, so after that I was doing fine. Crammed all of that night into a nice safe in my mind, and I never thought about it again. One night I was walking down the street, and I just so happened to put my hand in my coat pocket, and I felt something. I could have sworn that I didn't put anything in there. No, actually, I know I couldn't have. The jacket wasn't mine. It was a jacket I stole off the back of a chair in a bar. Blue and velvet, my size. Well, I pulled out whatever it was, and there it was. The pendant. The eye stared back at me. And well, this time I knew it blinked.
Dreadwood Press Radio is a podcast written by Arthur Edwards and produced by Deepwood Productions. In this episode, the role of Felix is performed by Jordan Walker. This week's musical guest is Mara Noodle. You can follow Dreadwood on the web at Radio Dreadwood on Twitter, at Dreadwood Press Radio on Instagram, or if you like the podcast, you can support us over on Patreon at Deepwood Productions. Thanks so much for listening, and hey, stay safe out there. Until next time.
Young and fair girl, jet black hair, muddy wrist, Marceline. She flits through bars. I wish on stars she might come home to me. When she's into my ear, she whispers sweetest things. Tomorrow comes the hollow heart of promises. Empty. Our clothes are torn, our bodies warm, the middle of us dream. The morning dawn, quick with the sun, distant memories. Lovers dance amid romance, permission to be free. Each day is new, I cherish you, my darling Marceline. Lovers dance amid romance, permission to be free.